there was somebody came into the theater and they were like saying, oh, I feel like a lot of people know there's like people are saying that Superman's woke because James Gunn said he's an immigrant. Okay. And we hate immigrants, in America.
Yeah.
But then he said that the Fantastic Four movie is woke too. And I was talking with Ethan about it, and we're like, what are they talking about? Like, we haven't heard anybody talk about this one. So
is
we
there
were
something
trying to
in the trailer?
I don't know. The only thing that I could think of, which, I mean, obviously any of this stuff is
like
not
speculative.
a big deal. No, I'm saying like anything that, like the Superman stuff, like that's, it doesn't matter. Like you shouldn't be complaining. It's not whatever. But the only thing I could think of is that the Silver Surfer is a woman, and traditionally, like the first time that the Silver Surfer shows up, it's Norrin Rad, who is a guy. But the Silver Surfer in the lore, it's just like a title. It's like, I don't know if you know anything about like the Green Lanterns, but like there is like the Green Lantern.
There's
like the superhero.
There's multiple. I've seen like cartoons from whenever where it's like, isn't there like a dog? There's like a dog that's a Green Lantern too, or something like that.
I think
so. It's a ring. It's like a society that like you're given a ring.
It's a core.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
And it's not quite like that. There is only ever one Silver Surfer at a time, but it is just like a title.
Right.
And there have been female ones before. It's just normally like the first one is the
famous
guy
one from like the comic book covers that everyone recognizes. They're like, if it's not that, it's woke or whatever.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I could think of. Or I'm like, because then we were like, is it Sue Storm? She is a woman. I don't know. She's normally is. So.
I don't. Yeah, because I'm looking at the trailer and I'm not sure what people could construe as woke in this. I think it's just. I was commenting on someone's Facebook status about this too. It was more so in line with like the whole like Superman is woke complaint that people are having. But it's just like, it's insane to me that like these conservatives they have their hands on the levers of power in every conceivable way. Like they just passed this bill that someone online called it the kill yourself if you make less than $200,000 a year bill, which I thought was pretty apt. But it's like, you just passed the big beautiful bill. People are being like rounded up by like plainclothes ICE guys. Like you've got alligator Alcatraz. You have like all the power in the country, but then you're like, but Superman is woke. Like they're these perpetual victims. They are so They are so bitch made because culture doesn't also reflect their just like dumbass evil ideas. It's like, you don't know what real power is then, because like you've won, really, you won, but then you're just like, yeah, but there's still black people in commercials. Wah! It's insane. It's just like, go to the movie and turn your brain off, you dumbass baby bitches. I'm so sick of hearing about like, this is woke now. It's like Artie from The Sopranos holding the gun, and he's like, go ahead, tell me the Fantastic Four is woke. Tell me that Superman is in a polycule, like that kind of shit. So it's so stupid. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like, there's a woman in it, and it was like, okay, you're going to deport them next? Let's just deport them too.
I guess.
Let's just children of men. It's we're so heteronormative that we want to have a country of all men. And then I guess we all just die out.
Yeah. I guess that's a good point. You could say that Silver Surfer is an immigrant too. Maybe that's what's got them up in arms, because they're an alien like Superman. Well, yeah, that's pretty accurate. I mean, I think when you really get down to it, like, kind of going off like what you're saying, that like when you really get down to it, it's like you think like the like Daily Wire, like Ben Shapiro. I can't think of any other ones, but is Steven Crowder still have a show?
I don't
feel
know
like
what
he
happened
really
to that guy.
fell off after the stuff like with his wife and stuff. I was just gonna say though that like I think, yeah, when you get down to it, it is just. I feel like a lot of those people, like Ben Shapiro, like is he really mad about that, or does he know that he can stir up, more views and whatever if he makes a thing of it? It's rage bait bullshit.
It's clicks. Yeah, no, that's the bottom line for those guys. It's like I feel like Ben Shapiro and those guys probably write like one script ever, and then they just mad lib Superman with whatever, and then like super blank is woke because it promotes blank blank diversity, and there are characters who are blank blank, and then you just fill it in with genderqueer or poly or non-binary or non-traditional not nuclear family or whatever their flavor of the week is.
They probably have like I think there's a thing you can do. You can like program into like Google or whatever where it'll like notify you, or there's a certain way that you can like refine your search thing so that you'll like ping or get notified for like certain keywords. Like you can set like immigrant, pansexual, nobody really has any problems with furries, interestingly enough.
No.
But that's where my brain went. I don't know. I'm trying to buzzwords. So they have those set, and then it's just like when a new movie or whatever is coming out, they'll just add in. So like for the last like month or so, they've added Superman to that list. Mm-hmm. So then they get like Superman bisexual. No, Superman. Superman pedophile. No, Superman immigrant. Ding ding ding.
Yeah,
and then and then once that's done, they'll remove Superman from the list and plug in Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Bisexual Superman sounds interesting though. I would watch that.
I wouldn't be surprised. He's probably pan.
He's an alien. Like,
yeah.
Do you think like the like heteronormity is a thing for him? He can travel the galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows what they're into in Krypton.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I just moved away from the thing.
Speaking of woke.
Yeah. So, yeah, speaking of stuff that is still very relevant. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another episode of There Will Be Duds. This is episode 186, and I am your co-host, TJ. And with me, as always,
I am Nick.
And as always, we watched a movie. That movie this week being La Haine, directed by Matthew Kassovitz. And the movie is about... I was just going to say a cab, like, and just have that be the whole...
Yeah.
the whole thing. It's also known in America as Do the French Thing. No, it follows three youths in the aftermath of a riot where one of their friends was shot by a police officer. He's in the hospital in like critical condition, and they're just kind of like dealing with the aftermath of that. There's a lot of like rage building. One of them has a gun that he stole from a cop and says he's going to kill a cop if his friend dies. And that's, I guess, the main like kind of driving force of it. But it's also, at the same time, it's kind of like a hangout movie for a lot of it too.
Yeah, it is.
Interestingly enough. I was really, that was like the first thing I noted off the rip was like, I was not expecting this tone. I thought just knowing like the title, which translates to hate, and then knowing the basic premise of, you know, friend gets shot, rate. I you know, your mind goes to like a reference to Do the Right Thing. Although there's a lot of like that movie's not 100% like just dark, grim, serious, but all the imagery of it, like the poster, you just see their eyes like staring at. A lot of stills from it. It looked like a very angry movie, and I thought it was going to be like I was expecting Do the Right Thing X, like Uncut Gems or something like that. Where it's just I thought it was going to be like tense, and I was just going to feel like stressed the whole time. But it's really funny. It's like most of it. It's just kind of dudes chilling, and then they run into the police, and they're like, "Hey, fuck you."
Yeah.
And it obviously it does build to a darker crescendo, but you know, most of the movie is kind of just like a normal comedy drama sort of thing with the underlying, you know, messaging of the whole thing.
Yeah. Really, the only like thing that I had ever seen from this movie was the part where Vince is doing the Travis Bickle, like he's pointing the gun and he's doing the "you talking to me." That, like, I've seen that clip referenced in, like, you know, cinema videos or like greatest shots of all time, like YouTube videos or whatever. The one thing I did forget about was the excellent dolly zoom when they're like standing on that bridge. I forgot about that. That was like,
in Paris or whatever.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that before. That was really cool.
Yeah. I was not expecting this to be a hangout movie at all. I did see a few like Letterboxd reviews from people that I follow that were like, "Oh, this is like Do the Right Thing." So I was like, "Oh, okay, this is going to be kind of like a boiling pot that's like slowly simmering." And there is that. And like each little like vignette is like punctuated by like the time and then like a ticking clock. So you do sort of have it's sort of there to remind you that tension, like it is building to something. It is building to like some sort of thing. And they do reference that a lot with even the opening monologue. That's like what's he saying? It's
so
like
far so good.
So far so good. So far so good.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of like falling out of a building and you're like, I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet, even though you're like speeding towards the ground. You're like, right. I don't know. So far, so good. Yeah. I was like, oh shit, that's like a really good way to like kind of, you know, say how the story's gonna go, pretty much. Like, so I did read Josh's review, and he's not here to defend himself, and I'm not accusing him of it, but I do think he brings up an interesting point. Because I do think the movie is very much like you said, ACAB the movie. Like it's I would say that the movie is very much on the side of like the young protagonist, like anti-police, like people. But in Josh's review, he I think he had an issue with like the way that like the characters acted, like the sort of like they're just like punk bitches that are like flipping everybody off and just like sort of shitty to like any person that they meet that's not immediately in their cohort. And like I think he was like he didn't resonate as much with them because they were like being so asshole-ish. And I was wondering if that like would take away from like the sort of critique of the police, you know, that like I think a lot of people have. You know,
I could totally see, and I'm not saying that this is what Josh is. I know that he still gave it like a fair rating, so he still liked it.
He gave it like he gave it like 3.5, and he gave it a heart. So I mean, he wasn't like this movie sucks because of this, you know.
I could, so I'm not saying this to him, but I could see some like bootlickers watching this and be like, yeah, they deserve that. Like they deserve, you know, the fucking like torture scene with.
Hey, if they didn't resist, if they hadn't been resisting, none of that would have happened.
Yeah. And they're like, the cops are like teaching the like rookie. That's like, makes it so much worse. They like keep going over to him and they're like, he's like, you stop before you know, they pass out. You got to have control. It's so gross.
Yeah. And like I was reading the Criterion booklet for this. I guess it references a few like real world incidences where like,
yes, I was reading
like
about that too.
There were like police blunders that got leaked that like someone would die in their custody. And it's just like these that like, you know, this is like pre cell phone video too. Because now I feel like it's like everything, you know, as soon as like the police are anywhere like doing something and they're like having a standoff with somebody or like, you know, pulling somebody over and shit starts going down, everyone's got their phone out. It is like you have a million angles of everything. And this predates that, which is interesting. But yeah, I brought up Josh's point because I did have this idea of like, you know, like nature versus nurture. Like, can you say that they are the way that they are because society has made them that way? Or if it's like, if they were upper middle class kids, do you think that they would still have like those impulses to be like, you know, I don't know. I don't know where it's like an Ouroboros almost. Like it's like society is this way, therefore these people are this way, and because the people are this way, they make society this way, and it's like chicken and the egg kind of thing.
Well, that goes back to what Hubert says in like the bathroom, which is where they get the title of the movie from. He says hate begets hate, or hate, yeah, and that's
like, if you hadn't dropped out of school, that's what you would have learned.
Yeah.
I was so scared for him the entire movie. I think of all three characters, he was the one that I like.
The most sympathetic. I mean, yeah, yes. For sure. He's like, you have like, they're each, Hubert and Vince are on opposite, you know, they're one's more of like level-headed pacifist, the other one's more aggressive.
Yeah.
And then Saeed is like the mediator.
Yeah. He's the little brother, basically.
Yeah. Although it's well, I don't know if I want to get like quite into the ending yet, but I was just gonna say, but you do realize in the end that a lot of Vince's, you know, machismo is just posturing. Like he's, you know, he doesn't really back up what he says, which was good. You know, yeah.
I think it gave him a little bit of humanity. I think you could easily like write him off as like a Travis Bickle, as like a, you know, taxi driver, just wants to watch the world burn and he doesn't care. Like, you know what? They just announced that our friend died, so I'm gonna kill this like skinhead. And like I'm gonna do something about it.
Yeah. Well, fuck it. Yeah, let's just go into the ending. So,
that's not necessarily the ending. There's a little bit more after that, but that's
no. I'm saying I am going to just go into the ending.
Okay.
Because I do want to talk about this now. That like, I think that's that ending, because this kind of goes on like the whole thing of like, well, they're just kind of shitheads, and why the ending really like informs a lot of like what you just saw and like puts it in like, not like a new context. It's more just because like along the way I'm thinking like watching this, I'm like, I don't know if Vince is actually going to like kill a cop, you know. And it's like when it comes to it and, you know, they see the news, how it's done is interesting. There's so many interesting choices with this too that we can get to later, but the way that's done is like they see the report that Abdel dies, and then they're like, where's Vince? And then you'd see him like he does what he does in the mirror with his finger gun. He just goes poof at the cop, but they're like freaking out because like he said he was gonna kill a cop. And so I think that like maybe this is a thing, you know, like what would it be like on any other day, you know, because that is the backdrop, is that their tensions are high, so maybe they're acting extra shitty, you know. because of that. They are still like punk youths, but I think they're just kids. I didn't realize this until I was reading like a trivia thing. They're supposed to be teenagers. I did not know that. So thinking of it in that context of them as teenagers, I think that also puts their behavior in a more understandable light, I guess, because kids are, they act up, and it makes
teenagers
the rage against the cops, even because then that means that the cop, their friend, I'm assuming, is also a teenager. So it's a kid that they shot, and like and they're abusing and targeting and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think thinking of that with that in mind, that they're like teenagers, because like you're very angsty, you're very like impulsive, and like you're like, whatever I think right now is the thing that I believe in the most, and no one is ever going to change my mind. Like I remember being like that age and just like having opinions on stuff and being like, this is messed up. This is bullshit. Like I shouldn't have to do any of this because this is all stupid and bullshit and I hate the world. But then it's like, that's like a very natural thing for like a kid to go through. Like you think about things in that way, and you're hormonal, you're angry, but then you add in this backdrop of like the police state and like politics in France, because they mention some people that are still, I think, active in the French government. Le Pen. I don't know if they mention Nicolas Sarkozy. But I'm like, oh shit, those people are like still players in the game. They're still like Marine Le Pen or whatever. Like I don't know who the current president of France is, but like he ran for something. Like he's like, they're all still around. And so I was like, oh shit, like things really haven't changed all that much in like 30 years. Yeah. But it's like, like being hormonal and angry is like totally natural, but then you add this backdrop of like this police state, and your friends are getting picked up and you're being constantly harassed. Like, that's like the logical conclusion of that happening. It's like you take all the poor angry people and put them all together. Like this is sort of what happens, because it like sort of breeds this nihilism of like nothing is ever going to get better. So who gives a shit about anything? So like just like they're spray painting shit, and it's like, I don't know, you can have like one or two responses. And obviously the response in this movie is just like more policing, more brutality, more abuse. It's like, thinking that if like your kid messes up, you just smack him in the head a bunch and eventually he'll figure it out. And they just like, apply that to everybody. And it's like, doesn't work. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, after that, just continuing with that ending bit where they catch the skinhead, who is played by the director. I don't know if you saw that, but
oh shit,
it's a fun cameo, fun self-insert. I like that. I mean, if you're like, I feel like that's something that I would do if I'm like, I'll be the guy that gets thrown around and beat up, sure. And I actually, because I knew the movie was almost over, because it goes. There's like no end credits. It's just that long opening credits. But I think it was like less than 5 minutes at that point. The ending is so quick. It was like last like 2 or 3 scenes. So I thought that he gets the gun and he grabs the one guy, and then all the others run away, and then they like throw him to the ground, and you see them like kick him on the ground a few times. I thought the movie was going to end with them just kicking that guy to death. Like, I thought it was just going to be that shot, and like all 3 of them were just going to, like, them just like releasing their anger or whatever. But then it goes a little farther, and Hubert is like egging him on. Like, he makes some good points. That only good skinhead is a dead one. And then you get that Vin's, like, that expression on Vince's face was just really good acting in that shot where he's like holding it, and you just see his face like twisting in like anger and then like sorrow. And again, even more, it informs like just his whole character leading up to that is like he can't do it. I mean, like, that really, like, that would be so pointless of a murder anyways, but he's like, I feel like you just see in his face there all of the anger.
He works through the whole process.
Yeah, exactly. But he still can't do it. He's still like, so I think that's like, he does still have his humanity and all that. Mm-hmm. And the movie ends and like that happens and they go away and I'm like, oh, good. Oh, nice. I'm like, and then they get back home and him and Hubert like kind of make up. He gives Hubert the gun and he's like, you should, I want you to have it. Or he's like, you be more safe with this or whatever. And they part on good terms. I'm like, awesome. I was like, I wasn't expecting this to have such a nice ending. And then you can even look at the clock and it's like a minute left or something like that. It's like maybe like 90 seconds left. And then I literally, well, first I'll say because you get that shot, it stays on Hubert as those two walk away, and then the car pulls up, and then I think it stays on him the whole time, and then he turns and starts going back towards them. I thought at first, even though I realized this doesn't make sense because these cops were in Paris and not whatever town they were in, but I actually thought at first that was one of the cops that was like abusing him, like in the station or whatever.
Oh.
So I thought he was just gonna go up and shoot that guy, like without hesitation.
Yeah.
And then it's like that abrupt, like I was just watching this here on my computer, and I literally no cap, like at hand motion and all, I went like hand
my
in
jaw
front
was
of my
on the
mouth.
floor. I was like watching it last night, like Chloe went to bed, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, there's like 5 minutes left. Like, how is this gonna end? And as soon as like the gun accidentally goes off and he shoots him in the head, I'm like, I was like just stunned, totally stunned, could not believe it. I was like, and it was like an accident. It was purely like he was doing like, it was like Pulp Fiction when he like leans his hand on the back and blows Phil Lamar's head off. Yeah. And it's like, it's so tragic.
Yeah. It's tragic because it's like so pointless. I think that is the point, is that like they were doing all this shitty stuff throughout this day or whatever. They were harassing, they were being belligerent, and then he gets shot by accident because he like made fun of this cop yesterday. It's like such a pointless death.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I may have like had my hand in front of my mouth until the movie ended. And then I was like, okay, I should put this down.
Yeah, and like the look on Hubert's face as he's coming back, because I was like rooting for him the whole movie, because like he seemed the most aspirational to like you said, a foil to Vince. Vince is like very like anarchic, very anarchy based, sort of just like
punky.
Like, I'm just gonna burn shit down. Like the system is broken. The system doesn't give a shit about me, so I don't give a shit about them. Where Hubert is like, he wants a better life for him and his family. He's like I'm tired of living in the projects. I'm tired of like this life, and like there's got to be something better, and he wants for that. And so like at the end, I think kind of like you, I was like, is this how it's gonna end? He's gonna walk away. He's got the gun, but then of course they have to, because we were talking earlier about Vince, and like the whole movie he's like very like posturing about like, you talking to me, like he's that kind of guy, and he can't pull the trigger. And it's like, I think it's very funny that the guy that is the most macho and the most punk can't do it, but it's like Hubert, like you put a gun in his hand and I feel like he could pull the trigger and like not have any problem with it at all. It's like that dichotomy of like their attitudes and perspectives, where it's like, if it was Hubert with like the skinhead, I don't think he would have struggled. I don't think he would have like, I think he might have done it.
Maybe. So I would say I took him him like egging Vince on against the skinhead, I took that as like, I think he was calling his bluff.
Yeah, because he had been doing that like the entire movie.
Yeah. And I think when he saw, like, I think maybe because he had seen him not, when he had the chance to kill that cop after they found out that their friend died, and he didn't, he's like, okay. And maybe just because he knows him, like, personally, that's how I took that. Okay. And I don't know. I kind of think, I don't think Hubert would have, but then I think he sees his friend die feet in front of him, and then he snaps. And who knows? Yeah. Obviously, that ending is left ambiguous. But you just hear one gunshot. You don't hear two. Unless they fired at the exact same time. But I feel like the intent was that it was just one. In my head, I'm thinking it's, if I had to pick, well, I don't know. It's weird. I don't think you're supposed to, but
yeah,
I think he shot the cop. I think that was just him, maybe his like moral code just like breaking, and then maybe he would be a Vins after that, you know?
Yeah, because like again, there's like that scene with Vins. He's like, "Oh, what are you, a preacher now?" When like Hubert was kind of talking about like icing, like if you ice one cop, like that's not gonna make any difference. Yeah. Like they're all, you know, he's kind of like basically expressing this idea that like there are other ways of doing this without violence. There are ways to do it, you know, systemically maybe, or like organizing people. I don't know. But then his whole idea is his whole idea is just sort of like blown up in his face when he watched his friend. And so it's like, he's like, oh, okay, well, you can talk theory, you can talk like, you know, political organization, you can talk about all of these things about how you organize people to like change the system from the inside and the proper channels. And then your best friend gets shot in the face on accident. And it's like, all of that goes out the window immediately.
Yeah. It makes all of what he was talking about and defending through the whole movie is like, well, it doesn't matter. None of it matters.
Yeah.
Because it was like, and of course it's like after they like make up, and maybe he made like a difference. Maybe Vince was actually gonna like,
he gave the gun back to him. Vince the whole time was like, I stole this cop's gun and I'm gonna shoot a cop with it because my friend. And it's like he has a change of heart and perspective.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he finally, I think that's why it's so dark, is because it's like he did make a change for the better, and then he's immediately done. He's immediately killed. It's like, and I was like, I was like, it was so like funny, well, not funny, ironically funny, or not even, I don't know. It was funny how like I didn't know if there was like a thing, or if it's just the whole thing about, you know, police brutality and all this, but I was like kind of waiting for a moment. I didn't know, like, is there like a shocking ending, or I really didn't know much about this movie in general, other than the police brutality, whatever. And I was like waiting for like to be shocked by something, or I was waiting for the moment to drop where I'm like, okay, what is the hard hitting thing about this, or like and I was like, you know, there's that scene where the police are like torturing the two guys. I'm like, that's pretty fucked up. But then, yeah, it's like literally in the last like seconds of the movie. And I'm like, oh, that's it. Fuck. This is awful.
Yep. They're going to give you maximum like hangout time with these characters and like grow to like them and empathize with them and like understand their struggle. And then they're going to like snuff it out in the last possible second.
Yeah. With the near back-to-back instances of them getting their like repercussions for like, because the skinheads target them because they're like, hey, you're the guy that shouted us from the rooftop.
Yeah.
And then they deal with that. And then, like, right after that, there's the cop at the very end. And he's like, oh, you called me a pussy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, those two scenes, I was like, this is the natural conclusion of my, like, casual road rage. because I will, like, even if I'm not, like, mad, people will, like, pass me on the road or pass me, like, a little too fast or something, and I'll just flip them off. I flip people off, like, so quickly on the road, and Kalia's like, she's like, somebody's gonna do something to you one day. And I'm like, this is what's gonna happen to me.
You're gonna like realize that you're going to the same location as somebody else, and then they're gonna be like, they're gonna spot your car from up across the parking lot and be like, hey. Yeah, I don't flip people off. But what I'll do is if I'm going like 75 pushing 80 on the freeway and someone has to pass me going 90, usually in like a big ass lifted truck, instead of giving them the bird, I'll just go like do a fake jerk off motion as they drive by. I don't know. It seems less aggressive, but maybe more offensive. I don't know. That's like my chosen road rage. Like I'm not even telling you off. I'm just telling you that you're just like jerking yourself off. I don't know. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, I've definitely had Chloe say the same thing where it's just like, she's like, can you not do that? Can you chill? And I'm like,
you do that when she's in the car too.
Sometimes.
Damn.
But then I'm like, oh God, if they have kids in the car, it looks like I'm beating off. And that's probably bad. Yeah, I'm a demon on the road when people are.
Yeah. I'll do a thumbs up sometimes too as an alternative.
That's a good one. Yeah, thumbs up's a good one.
Good job, you're going fast. All right. Anyways.
Oh, that's great. Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's like a few shots that I remember really, really liking.
Yes.
The bathroom one in particular. The way that they did like the staging and like the mirrors, how he's like standing over here, but you see his reflection and they're like talking to each other. I really, really liked that one.
There was a really cool one where it was like there was like a DJ spinning discs in a scene. Which, did you catch the ad rock, the drop?
No.
Yeah, it was in there. And then he starts playing, and then it's like they had a camera hanging from a crane or something like that, and it just kind of like drifts over the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you can even see the camera kind of like wobble a little bit here and there, but that was a really cool shot. I really, really liked that one. And then I think it like settles on the main guys again.
There were like a few like sort of like Evil Dead Steadicam type shots. Like there was one where I think it was like, maybe it was when Vince was like showing them the gun kind of in that like parking garage area or wherever they were. But I feel like it was like you saw the three of them way far ahead, and the camera like and basically like comes in, but it's very wobbly. But like I don't know. Stylistically, I think that shit's really cool. Like, yeah, it's like if you're like a filmmaker and you're like, well, the camera's a little wobbly. Like, we want it to be a very smooth movement. But it's like with a movie as like frenetic as this, I think that like sort of wobbly human handheld running type Steadicam shit is like perfect.
Yeah,
and I think it adds a layer to it, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. There was a lot of I was surprised being this guy's second movie. I thought it was his first. No, it's his second movie. But still he's like 28, 29 or something when he made this. So a young guy, second movie. But there's so much style. There's so many interesting ways that like he shoots a scene or something. It was really impressive for such a like young filmmaker. There was so much to it. Was so interesting, like technically, and like I said, there's a lot of cool like Steadicam, like long takes, where they're just kind of like walking and the camera. Nothing like super fancy with it, but some really cool Steadicam long shots. long takes, whatever's.
And I think a lot of the composition was really cool too. Like I don't know, even some of the more static shots are great. Like I the one in particular I'm thinking of is I think it's after. I think it might be when they're on their way back home. I think it's after the skinhead, after they're at the mall. They're like on a train together, and like the camera is like maybe at the front of the train car. And so like they're like kind of far in the back, but just the way that they're like all sitting on the train car, like Vince is sort of like sitting looking out the window, and Hubert is like kind of sitting looking out the other window, and Saeed's like in between them, like as always. I don't know, like the composition and like the way that like actors are staged. I think it's like very, it's thoughtful the way that he did it, you know.
Yeah. Oh, kind of combining those two. Like good staging and another cool long take.
Blocking
was like
the word.
Blocking, yeah. Was that like party on the roof, the one where the cops show up to like break it up. That was I really like that one. That it's like on them and then it turns and then you just see like more and more people and I liked how take? That it just looked. I think it was, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that whole scene may have been one take. If not, there was a long take at the beginning of it, and then maybe it cuts. But yeah.
That's like when Saeed grabs the hot dog and he runs, and the other guy's like chasing him.
Yeah.
He's like scene. Eating the hot dog as he's running away from him, and he's like, "I didn't take the hot dog," and he's like, "Your mouth is full. You're chewing."
Yeah. Yeah, this like I mentioned that it was like lighter before, but there's some like good comedy in this. Like I was surprised how funny I was finding it. Not just like this is comedic, but like jokes that actually like worked for me.
Yeah.
There was the scene where they're in the they just like hang out at an art museum and they're just like bumming on like the steps in that there's like you see like people like kind of walking around them and they're just like sitting on the steps into like one of the rooms and then they like try to hook up with those girls and then they get like thrown out. That reminded me a lot of With Nell and I, the scene where they go into that like pub when Vernon, when Uncle Vernon drops them off, and they like go into that pub for like 5 minutes and then they like make asses of themselves and leave.
They are very clearly not members of that type of like polite society, and like they're rejected like almost immediately. That's such a good comparison, because like as soon as they get inside the museum, they beeline right towards like the free hors d'oeuvres, and they're just like like, oh shit, there's like chips over here, there's like pretzels over here. The guy comes up with like the champagne glasses and they're like, they're just like yeah.
I mean, at that point they are, because they like miss their train back home. They are probably like starving. That's kind of why they're just trying to find something to. So they're like trying to find somewhere to stay, and they can't do that. So they're like, okay, let's just find something to do while we're waiting for the morning train or whatever.
I feel like that's a good metaphor again, also for like their sort of like class position, like literally rejected from like polite modern society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you looked at what else this guy has done? Because
there's one in particular that I'm like sort of surprised by.
There's two that are ass. They might be his only American ones. I don't know, but
about Gothica,
and Babylon AD.
Babylon AD
with Vin's Diesel.
I mean, I remember like when Gothica came out, because the poster with like Halle Berry doing like this with like the writing on her arm was like very. I remember like those movie posters in like Family Video or Movie Outpost. And I remember that, but that's an interesting career for him to do, like, because like even in the Criterion like liner notes, the director, he's basically like, yeah, Haine has dogged me my entire life. He's like, I think it's an important work, but also like I'm the Haine guy no matter what I do. And it's like, well, make something as good as that then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, make something else that's good. Like, you can't complain if it's like, I don't know, like maybe he's making what he wants to make now. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're all original. You can say that at least. Like, maybe he was really into Gothica. I don't know.
I guess.
Like, maybe there's that, you know? So I guess that's good if that's the case. But I don't know. But at the same time, it's like Len isn't like, it's not just like known as like a good movie or like his best movie. It's like it's regarded as like like one of the best movies of all time by like a lot of people. So it's like, dude, like, don't complain too much about it. Like, you're in even with just the one movie, you're in like a pretty elite class or whatever.
Yeah. He
like,
won.
Not a
like,
lot of people get movies like that.
He won like best director or something at like Cannes that year. Like, and also, I mean, the other thing that was like in like the criteria notes was like, because of this movie, I think like the sort of like police relations with like the people in France, like I think it definitely like had an impact on the way that people view policing and the way that people view like poorer people that are like, you know, sort of retaliating against that brutalist like police state. Like it had a cultural impact because he was basically documenting like what he saw happen every day, and I think people like felt represented by that. And you're like, they could see themselves in those characters. So it's like, I feel like it's kind of rare to like make an iconic movie like almost right out the gate like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that's the movie, there could be worse movies to be followed around by. I'll just say that. you know, it's like,
right. Yeah. If he made a few more Babylon ADs or Gothica, maybe he would be more known as like that guy.
Is Gothica
Those
in
are
the
his
cup?
two
I do
lowest.
sort of want to see that. You should put Gothica in the cup. Or maybe for a Halloween dud. I don't know.
I wouldn't. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, those are his two lowest rated movies. I'll say that on okay. So you know, maybe the other stuff's like not as bad, but I'm thinking like you could make some more Babylon IDs, and then you could be like the Wachowskis. Like, they made The Matrix, but then it's like they made so much shit afterwards that now people are like, yeah, they're not that good. So I mean, you could go that route.
Yeah, but there's also like a very vocal online community that is like in love with Speed Racer and think that Speed Racer is like one of the greatest. Is that you? Is that you too? I've never seen it. I've never seen Speed Racer.
It's not one of the greatest movies ever, but I really like Speed Racer. Yeah.
Okay, but I remember it getting clowned on when it came
Jupiter.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. No. It that's fair. It's wonky. But I think it's really fun. But no, I was talking about more like Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
And, I know they've made more. I'm just drawing a blank. They had a few, they did the Matrix movies, and then they did V for Vendetta. So
yeah,
I really like V for Vendetta too. But then
Cloud
there
Atlas,
was Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas, which I think that one's like people like. I don't think that one's like considered as bad as some of the other ones, but oh wait, something else.
The other one that comes to mind is Richard
that.
Kelly and Donnie Darko, because I think everything that he's made after Donnie Darko is also considered like not very good. Although I don't know, I've heard some critical reassessments of Southland Tales. I've never seen it, but I've heard that some people like really actually like that movie a lot.
I've heard that too. I don't know if that might just be the same kind of like the Speed Racer stands or whatever.
That
one is
Southland
Cup, by the way.
Southland Tales. Okay, yeah. Hell yeah, in the Dud Cup.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
It might be in the. I don't remember. I think that.
Okay. One other thing I was going to note is that I wonder if a young Paul Thomas Anderson watched Haine before he made Boogie Nights, because the character of Asterix very much reminded me of Alfred Molina at the end of Boogie Nights, when they go to they try to like rip him off, and he's just he's waving the gun around, and he's like I think he even does Russian roulette in front of them, and he's just like, yeah, check this out, and then he spins it and he goes like and like Mark Wahlberg and like I was gonna call him Steve Brule, John C. Reilly are just sitting on the couch just like, Jesus Christ, what is happening right now? And I feel like that was like a similar sort of tension. And I think they're even dressed similarly too. Like Asterix, they like open the door and he's wearing like basically a loincloth.
Yeah.
But he has this like lavish, beautiful apartment. He's like, yeah, I'm apartment sitting for this guy, but I'm not going to give it back. Or like, he's just like unhinged immediately.
Yeah.
And he's like, spinning the thing around, and he's like doing Russian roulette. And he's like, your turn, you try. And then you learn that the gun was never loaded to begin with. But that vignette in particular, I was like, that's very Alfred Molina and Boogie Nights coded to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could totally see that. Yeah, and then they find out afterwards that that was all for just like a couple $100 or whatever.
He's like, it was about the principle, which
yeah,
I was like,
that's right. Yeah, just,
I can kind of get behind that. Yeah, that's a funny moment. I'm trying to think of other funny moments, because I think anytime there was like a scene where they were like yelling at each other like in public, and like the sort of like passerbys and people in their apartments had to react to it. It was so funny. Like, I think even at the beginning, like he's yelling at Vince's sister to like wake him up, and some other guy like is like, hey, can you keep it down? And he's just like, can you go fuck yourself? Like, they're all like constantly like but the one that I like the most is, I think it's like later at night, they're somewhere, and they're like yelling somewhere, and I think Vin's in like as a declarative statement, it's like, you know, maybe his sense of identity. He's like, I know who I am and where I'm from. And one of the people in like their apartment shouts, then go back there and shut the fuck up. It was like so funny. Just like, I'm trying to go to sleep. Can you go away?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Not a funny bit, but just an interesting thing. So there's the part where Vince goes to the theater when the other two are captured, and it had to have just been thrown in there just as a little homage, but I caught it immediately. So he's not actually watching a thing because it's just like sound effects or whatever, but shortly after he sits down, there's a screech sound effect, and I immediately pinged it. That was from The Thing. That's a sound effect from The Thing. It's in the. I'll do it in the episode. I'll pair them next to each other. It's in the blood test scene when he's got the thing. And he's like,
when the blood
yeah. He's like, we'll do you next, and then he, and it's the same. I stopped the movie just to make sure, even though I was like very sure. I stopped the movie and looked up the scene, and I was like, that's the exact same sound.
That's incredible. That's so good.
We'll do you last.
I did notice all of like the influence of American culture. Because it's like they're wearing like tracksuits, like they've got the Nike logo on them. There was like that. I guess Perrier is probably maybe a French company, like the sparkling water that you see periodically. The ad rock thing, like the DJing, like all of this, like I guess like hip hop culture. It was interesting to see all of like the American influence. I think I'm drawing a blank on
Marley. There was a music and poster and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like there's like other things that they like reference that Taxi Driver, obviously, like that's like another big one, to the point where like, isn't there a scene in Taxi Driver where he's like sitting in a movie theater? Like, isn't there like, yeah, I think there's like Yeah, there's like him. Yeah, he's like sitting in the movie theater and he's got his hand like this, and I think he points his finger at it like it's a gun too. Yeah. So it's just like all these American references. I don't know. I thought it was interesting the way that like it was sort of infused into it all.
Yeah. There's a oh man, I'll have to double check, but there's a part because he says it in English. I noticed that. I want to say it's when they're trying to hotwire the car and there's the drunk guy outside. And I think it like they start it up. It might be, but I feel like because he says it in English, maybe it lends credence to it being this more. They hotwire the car and the drunk guy, he says, "You got it, man. You got it, man." He says that a few times. And if it's what I think it is, that's from Dog Day Afternoon. It's when I believe that's when Al Pacino's outside and he does Attica. He goes, Attica. And he goes, "You got it, man. You got it, man."
I would not be surprised if that's what that was.
You got it, man! You got it, man!
Yeah, like
that's
the way
awesome.
that he says it there, I think. Yeah, that guy was great too. I totally forgot about that guy until then. There's a lot of
I was like kind of scared when he showed up because I thought it might have been like his car and he was like gonna give him shit.
Yeah, that's
but
what
I
I
just
thought
love
at
that he
first.
was just like encouraging them. He's like, no, you can do it. It's like,
yeah.
And then I was like, is he helping them hotwire his own car? Like he's so nihilistic, and then
I
he's
thought
just
so
like,
too, yeah.
yeah, he's just like, hell yeah, hotwire my car.
And then they were like, none of them can drive, and he was like the only one that could drive. And I was like, I was like, are they gonna have him drive them out of there? Would have been funny.
Other things. Oh, the other like sort of American thing. It made me look like it made me think of like one of those mistranslated T-shirts, but I don't think it was mistranslated. I think it was meant to be a joke. Like, you know, like the like Obama Sonic like Bart Simpson T-shirts that you see like that are just like a weird amalgamation of different cartoon characters. You know what I'm talking about? Like yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
One of the characters had a shirt that just said Elvis shot JFK.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
I don't know. It made me laugh when I saw it. And I'm like, huh? It's just like, I haven't heard that theory before.
Yeah, that was a good shirt.
But there were a good amount of like signs. Like I feel like I've talked about that on the pod before. Like I like it when there are like certain signs that like say tech, like it's not like directly noticed by the characters, but it kind of adds like context to it.
Oh, like all the graffiti and stuff.
There's like the graffiti. I think early, because sometimes the camera will kind of linger on it and it will show the translation in English underneath, just so like you understand it. And I think one of them was like, "Your mother sucks bear dicks," was like one of the early ones.
I was thinking of that one. Yep.
But I guess this one, the characters do interact with it, but it's like the big poster that says "The world is yours."
Yeah.
And there's like one shot, because you see that poster twice. The first time I was like, I didn't necessarily like cry or like feel like tears welling up. But I think I was so into like Hubert's story and like where he was going to end up that there is a shot of him. It might have been one when they're on the train where he's just kind of looking out the window and he kind of has like a very like introspective, thoughtful expression on his face. And I feel like he's looking at a sign that says "The world is yours." And like, I remember seeing that and being like, I was like, for me, I was almost like sealing his fate. I was like, you're making me feel this way about a character, and that is like sealing what's going to happen to him at the end. And I know it's going to be very upsetting and sad. But then there's like that other part where they see the sign again, and I think it's Hubert that does it. He takes a little can of spray paint. Was it Saeed?
I think
he
so.
sprays like one letter away and changes it. So instead it says, "The world is ours." And I was like, that's good. That's the kind of shit that gets me riled up with these movies, like interacting with like signs and graffiti to like change the context of like what it means. I don't know. I really, really like that.
Yeah, that was a good bit. I'm good to go to scores.
Because people describe it as not as do the right thing, but I was like, it's like do the right thing meets Before Midnight. It's like the three of them wandering around.
Yeah,
obviously not as romantic as that movie, but
yeah, sure, yeah, I can get behind that.
That's all. That's it.
No, that's good. That's a good way to wrap it up. Scores.
Yeah.
I settled on a 9 for this. I thought this movie was awesome. Yeah, I loved like hanging out with these guys. They were really enjoyable and yet kind of like frustrating characters. Because there were times where like they were being so belligerent. And I'm like, guys, just stop. Just you don't have to make a scene here. But yeah, like the characters were great. So much style. And then yeah, the ending is like super, super impactful. Like just the way that it all comes together, and it sucks, but it's like it's so good. It's like such a great, powerful ending that like makes the whole movie, I think. Like it's one of those where as much as it sucks, you kind of need that ending, or like an ending like that, to like really just send it home, send the message home, and all that, like what the whole movie is going for. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I was kind of teetering between an 8 and a 9, and I think like just our discussion on it and then thinking about these scenes again, I think it does bump it up to a 9 for me. I wasn't sure going into it. I was like, okay, the tone is different than I was anticipating the movie to be. I was like, oh, okay, this is more of like a chill hangout movie. Interesting. Okay, so you kind of get these vignettes, and yeah, like you do get frustrated with the characters and the way that they act, and it's just like, pick your battles, man. You don't have to turn everything into like a physical altercation. Like it did have that like sort of uncut gems like quality, like when they go to the hospital to visit their friend and like they get into an altercation with the police, and it's just like shoving and yelling and shoving and yelling. They don't even bother putting any sort of like captions on there, because you're just like, the caption would be
fuck
like
you.
Various people yell. Yeah, that's all it would be. But like you see the character growth and like the relationship between Hubert and Vince. You see like their perspectives kind of change, and then at the end both of their perspectives change pretty radically. Yeah, there were several moments where my jaw was on the floor, and that ending shot is like it punctuates the idea so hard that like, yeah, I agree with you that it is like very necessary. Like unfortunately, it's the type of story, even with like Do the Right Thing, I haven't seen it in a second, but I remember mostly how that movie goes. It's like, unfortunately, to make that point, you kind of do need something like very tragic like that to happen. And like, as gut churning as it is, like if it didn't have that impact, it wouldn't be considered, the landmark piece of like, 90s French cinema that it is. And yeah, I think it's pretty timeless in that regard. Can't wait to watch Gothica.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do a Kassovitz ranking between this Gothica and Babylon AD.
Ugh.
So we both got something.
Yeah.
What do you think we should start with? I'm cool with either.
You can start with Superman.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. New Superman is it we were talking about how it's like the woke stuff or whatever. It is, you watch the movie though, and there's nothing really about him being, I mean, it's a core thing to his character that he is an alien, and like he feels like an outsider naturally. but it is, you watch the movie and it is so clearly like there's a conflict in like the Middle East, and
I've seen
it's
clips
fictional.
of that.
Yeah, it's fictional countries, but it is clearly Israel Palestine. It's very clearly that. And that's the funny thing, is that like I've seen people like, you know, Zionists, Israel supporters being like, that's what this is doing. And it's like, by acknowledging that you recognize that this is that they're doing Israel Palestine, you're admitting that you're the bad guys.
Yeah.
That, like,
dude, I don't know if we mentioned it when we talked about the Mission Impossible movies, but did you catch that in the Final Reckoning, like when they're doing the whole sequence with like nuclear arms, they like basically
Israel
say
has,
that it was
yes.
and like they deny that shit. And like
Yeah,
Final Reckoning is
that.
just like, nope, they've got them. We know that they do. That shit's crazy. Anyway, it's like that's 2 for 2 with movies this year that are like kind of calling Israel out on their shit.
Yeah, that was yeah, I did notice that. That was great. But yeah, it's so clearly like black and white. It's like it's this feels very, I've seen people compare it to like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man's, where it's a bit more like cornball kind of in that sense. Like it does feel more like earnest. It doesn't feel, it is kind of like a breath of fresh air for like modern superhero movies. It doesn't feel like Marvelized really. It feels kind of old school, I guess.
I mean, the Suicide Squad was like,
yeah,
I loved that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was why, because I've never I mean, when I was like reading comics and stuff, I thought Superman was like the dumbest guy ever, like the least interesting superhero ever. So I've never been a big Superman fan, but you know, James Gunn was doing it. I think he's got a great track record with superhero movies. I'm not a fan of the first Guardians movie, but the second and third ones I think are really good. And then Suicide Squad is great. And just knowing those and the character of Superman, I'm like, I feel like he's like a great pick to do something like that. He loves his kind of outsider characters, and that is kind of what Superman is. It's very like wholesome, which is how it's supposed to be. Like Superman is he's such a good guy. He's so he always does the right thing, and it's really nice. It's just a really nice like character to watch. He's so nice. There's a part where there's like a monster like rampaging around, like a huge, you know, hundreds of feet tall monster rampaging around Metropolis, and the other, what are they called? There's like it's kind of it's like a joke where like they haven't picked their name yet, but one of them is, they're calling themselves the Justice Gang. So like they show up and they're trying to like kill the monster, but like the whole time Superman is like trying to not kill the monster. He's like I want to stop it and get it out of here, but I want to like when because they do end up killing it. He's like oh, I thought we could take it somewhere else, or at least like euthanize it more humanely. And like every time it's such a good, like it feels like an answer to a lot of the critiques of like, you know, a lot of like the Zack Snyder ones where, you know, the end of that movie is like Superman just smashing through buildings and killing probably thousands of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having no regard for like human life at all.
There's like,
and in this,
there's like memes of like Marvel movies where it's like that face when like you see the Hulk grab your car to like throw at the monster and he misses or something like that. It's just like, you know, it's like you have car payments, like you have your stuff in the car and the superhero just grabs it and throws it and just like misses and you're just like out of car for no reason.
That's awesome. But yeah, in this, so like for instance, when they're like fighting the monster, he'll like he'll punch it so that it gets knocked over and it's falling back, but then he goes around and he catches it before it hits a building, and then he turns around and he asks everybody if they're okay, in the building, and then there's like a part where it's kind of like, 'cause it's a big monster, so every step it takes is like potentially going to kill somebody, and it shows him like he like goes and like grabs a kid before they get hit by him.
Yeah.
And then it even goes to, there's a squirrel that he takes time to grab, pick up, take to safety, and drop off. And like, that's why people like Superman. I'm like, if this is how Superman had been depicted, you know, and like the other, like the Zack Snyder movies, or just, I don't know, maybe if I had read more of like Superman centric stuff, you know, I'm like, I like him. I like the character is really great. He's a really, really likable. Like, I get why he is so popular. I really mostly only read like Elseworlds stuff with him, like alternate timeline type stuff where he's not even really Superman. Like Red Sun is a pretty popular one.
Like he's like, oh, what if he landed in Soviet Russia?
Yeah. Or, I mean, you know, maybe this also informs my bias, like The Dark Knight Returns and Kingdom Come, where he's not like a villain in both of those, but he's kind of like a tool. He's kind of a douchebag.
Is he like a Homelander type character?
No. He's still like Superman, but it's like the future, and he's kind of like a tool for the. I say he was a tool, but he's kind of like a tool for like the government or whatever. And
okay. I thought you meant tool as in like personality.
he is also a tool like that too. Yeah.
Because I think that's the whole thing with like Homelander is that he's like sort of like a critique of Superman, where it's just like where Superman is like all empathy and like caring for everything, and he's like he can kind of have this elevated status almost because he is like an outsider. Homelander is like, I'm an outsider and I have apathy for every living thing because I am alone, and so it's like the perfect foil. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a different tone. You know, it's not, you're not gonna get any of those like gratuitous like murder spree scenes like from Suicide Squad or any of that like raunchy humor. But it has a lot of this, like thematically, it feels very similar to Suicide Squad, and then like those later, especially Guardians 3. Like his more recent ones, it feels very, you know, you can see kind of like the writing through line. You can tell that it's written by the same guy, sort of thing. Really good. There's a lot of, it really makes you wait for Superman to like actually like win or like because he loses a lot of fights in this. He kind of like just scrapes by or whatever, and it really makes you wait for those triumphant moments, but they're like really good and they feel really earned. And also Lex Luthor is a fucking shithead in this. Like God, you wanna punch him so bad.
I do. I'm a Nicholas Hoult fan as of late. I do like his like filmography, and like he does strike me as like the perfect person to be that type of character. He's great. Yeah, that's like a compliment to him as being like really punchable. I saw a thing, there was like a video they were doing on YouTube where they were doing those two guys, Superman, the David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult were doing like the lie detector test, like interviews, and apparently Nicholas Hoult had tried out for the part of Superman, and I was like, that's kind of perfect to cast somebody who wanted to be Superman as Lex Luthor, because that's like basically his whole like motivation,
psychology. Yeah. So that was like genius. I that was fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I really liked it. I had decent hopes because I've got confidence in James Gunn's superhero-y movies. It doesn't feel like the same like Marvel movie you've seen a million times, and I was never a fan of the Zack Snyder ones, but watching this and like seeing Superman done like well, it makes those even worse. Like they're like embarrassing to think of in comparison to something like this. That wasn't even like, this isn't like a 10 out of 10 movie for me,
Right.
It's just like a good superhero movie. But it's like, you go back, they're like so fucking boring and cold and distant and just...
Yeah,
just blah. Just
Yeah,
a bummer,
I
because
feel
I like
like-
Henry Cavill too, but,
yeah.
it's not his fault.
That was the one where he like refused to shave his mustache because he was doing Rogue Nation
Fallout.
at the Fallout.
Which is the better choice. I mean,
Yeah, I mean Fallout. I mean, if I was ranking the Mission Impossible movies, Fallout might be number 1. It's pretty much up
my
there.
favorite.
It was the one we had the most fun with. Yeah, I mean that was, I don't know how, when did those Superman movies come out? The Zack Snyder ones, like 2011 or 12, 13?
Yeah, I think Man of Steel was 2012, and then BVS 2016, and then Justice League was the year after, which is weird.
Yeah. Makes me
And then the Snyder Cut.
think that it's like they were like still sort of like in that sphere of influence from like the Nolan Batman movies where it was like
100%.
oh, this is just how we like it's like a rejection of like the silly goofy like Batman movies with Adam West, and they're like, no, these are, but it's like, I don't know, you forget that like Chris Nolan is also like an auteur in that way, where it's like, if you just ape the dark style and you don't ape like the performances and the character development and the writing, you just have like a facsimile that's like, it's like just purely like aesthetic, and that aesthetic, you need those other things to make it not feel just bleak and shitty and bad and boring.
Yeah. And also, like, Batman can work. I don't know. I'm not saying either of them can work either way, but like, Batman used to be very silly. He's always, I want to say ever since, in my mind, not knowing the entire history of Batman, but I would say like Nightfall in like the early 90s was like maybe where he started turning a bit more serious consistently. But it's like Superman's just a different tone. He's not supposed to be moody and glum.
Yeah.
That's not how he is. And it's probably partly that, because if I'm right that was 2012, that's the same year that The Dark Knight Rises came out, and I want to say that there was like people were speculating like, oh, are they going to continue that and have Christian Bale's Batman in the Superman movies? I'm like, I don't think so. But it could have also been at that point, because that would have also been when the Avengers came out that same year. To like just differentiate themselves more from, they're like, okay, Marvel's the good one, we're gonna be the bad one. Basically. But, we're gonna be the serious one, they're the silly one.
Yeah, they're upbeat and quippy, but we're just like, there was a video from do you know Dan Olsen, Folding Ideas? He's like he's kind of one of those like YouTuber guys. I think he made like a pretty long like takedown video of like Batman versus Superman, or one of those videos. But he made a Batman.
I think I saw his one on I think he did one on Suicide Squad, maybe.
Yeah,
and I watched that.
Did. But he did one on Batman. That's like, because like the whole idea with Batman is that like he doesn't kill anybody, but he just like. But I think in that one he made a video, and it's like a kill count for like one scene in particular, where it's like Ben Affleck's Batman just like wrecking shit and just like. It's like traumatic brain injury, dead, and it's like 16 people or some shit like that. It's like Batman, he's like shooting him with guns, which is like another thing that like Batman just like doesn't do, or that's like, part of his moral code or whatever.
Yeah. I remember I remember that being like a big part of the marketing, was that like Batman has a gun and he says fuck.
Yeah,
I think he just says it once because it's PG-13, but
Yeah. Everyone Batman kills in Batman versus Superman and Why It Matters is 8 years ago. That's great.
Yeah. So that's what I gotta say about that one.
We can talk briefly about my thing. This is like old news at this point, because the season of this show ended like 2 months ago now. But I didn't realize it was that long. Yeah, I do. I'm bummed. There's no like Sunday night HBO show to watch now. Because for a while it was like Righteous Gemstones, then it was The Last of Us, then it was I don't know. They were like
White Lotus, Succession,
White Lotus
last year.
Nathan Fielder's show, Jesus, The Rehearsal. That was like a Sunday night.
Yeah.
And now there's like nothing on HBO to watch on Sunday nights. It bums me out. But
yeah, what are their new shows? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm talking about The Last of Us Part 2, or I guess The Last of Us Season 2. I did the thing where I played the second game as the TV show was airing. So I was kind of doing things that were happening in the show, in the game as well. So I like, it was like extremely fresh in my mind where I could compare and contrast and see where they differed in different ways. And usually like I'm okay. It doesn't bother me that much when they like switch stuff around, maybe change what a character looks like, or, you know, it's not that bad. Like, you know, 1-to-1 playing the first game and the first season of the TV show, I was like, I'm okay with some of these changes. Like they digress a little bit, like the episode with Nick Offerman, that's like a bit of a digression, but like in the first game, there are references to the character of Frank, and it's very heavily implied that they were like,
so
more than just friends. In the game, like he finds Frank, like he hung himself because he got infected and didn't want to turn, and he like leaves a letter to Bill, and it kind of does that thing where it's just like, Bill, you were always a piece of shit and I hated you kind of shit, where it's like it's a very tumultuous relationship. They don't die in each other's arms in their beds, that's for sure, but it's like, oh, okay, you kind of took this character and humanized him a little bit, and like that's a good change. Playing the second game and watching the second season of the show, I'm gonna kind of fall on the side of the consensus of most people, which was that they did not do a very good job of portraying the character of Ellie. And it has nothing to do with Bella Ramsey's appearance or performance. This is entirely on like the writing and the characterization direction that they took her with. And it was kind of a bummer because there were some elements that I really liked, and it was kind of like one of those things where I'm a monkey, where I'm like, I know that from the game. That's like the thing in the game, and like I could look over to Chloe and be like, oh, you don't know what's about to happen next, but I do. Ooh, something bad's gonna happen to this character, or whatever. I got to do that because I knew where it was going. And obviously the thing that pissed a lot of people off was that they spoiler, they kill off Joel in like the second episode, because that is what that's what happened in the game. And what's funny
it's like
is
the whole
like,
driving force of the second game, right?
Yes. I didn't play the game like when it came out in 2020, so like I kind of missed this round of discourse, but it was funny to see it all get reignited once again when the TV show viewers are like, how are you gonna make a game where you killed off the guy that we like? And it's like, oh shit, this must have been what it was like 5 years ago when people got the game for the first time, and like he gets axed like real quick in the game. They are doing it narratively in a similar way to the game, where like season 2 of the show ends with like a confrontation between Ellie and Abby, and then it's like the next season is going to be almost exclusively all Abby, all Caitlin Deaver's character, which I think other people are also like upset by, because they want more Ellie, I guess. Or she's not like waifu. She's not beefy. Oh. Because the character of what did you say? She's not a waifu.
Waifu. No, waifu. Like WHEY.
Oh,
like a protein mommy.
Oh shit. Okay. So, but I do feel like they didn't do a particularly great job with Ellie's characterization, because in the second game, she's much more intelligent than like she is in the show. Like, like she's able to do things. I mean, it's a video game, so it's like they can't really show just like Bella Ramsey murdering like 150 people like you do in this game, because like it's a game, and like that's kind of like the obstacle from get to point A to point B. There's like other like enemy characters that you have to like stealth kill. That's like the whole way it works. And you can't obviously do that in the TV show where it's just like she becomes an inhuman killing machine.
Yeah.
But
it seems more, it's way easier to like brush off. You almost don't even think about it in games like that you're like killing people, but if a character like kills somebody in a show or a movie, it's important or whatever. It's
and I think the way that the game developers try to counteract that a little bit is that like all the NPCs have like names. So so it's like they don't really have any characterizations, but like you'll be sneaking around and like you can craft like silencers for your pistol. You'll be sneaking around, you can go prone in the tall grass, and if you line up the shot, you can like stealth like shoot him in the head and drop him immediately. And I don't know if it's like the game trying to like encourage empathy in you to like make you learn the fact that you're just like killing like a human being and it's not just like a faceless like just thug number one. But it is funny that they all have names because you'll do that, and then when like the other NPCs discover the body, they'll just be like, "Oh shit, Eric!" Like they all have just like they'll be like insert names like, "Oh, Jonathan's dead." It's like
that wouldn't.
I
work
guess that
on
does
me.
a little bit of characterization, but not enough for me to like feel bad for doing it.
I would sneak up behind the characters and pickpocket them just to look at their IDs before I kill them.
I need to know your home address before I plug you.
Your date of birth and
But as far as like the game goes, I thought the game was fantastic, and I thought knowing basically the full scope of the story before I went into it, I think also enhanced my experience, even though I was spoiled for most of it. Because the way that the game is structured is that like you do all of this shit as Ellie, and then it forces you to switch and play as Abby, and you basically meet all of her friends that you like start
killed.
It's like you know that they're all dead, and then the game makes you play with them and like learn about them and like start to empathize with their perspective, and it goes from like in that way it is good that like these are like faceless, nameless dudes that you mow down, but then you see Abby's perspective and you like kind of see them in their settlement, and like you see them in their mess hall and they're like training. There's like schools like in like Washington, there's like kids learning in like schools and shit, and it's just like, oh, these are all the people that I just spent like 10 hours mowing down as Ellie. It's like so just to wrap it back into the show, I'll be curious to see how they do the third season, how they're gonna do like the Abby stuff. I want it to be good. I don't want it to fail. I don't want it to be bad. But Neil Druckmann, who's like the director of the game, just announced that he is like not working on the third season of the show. And in his statement, he said that he wants to spend more time working on stuff with Naughty Dog. But
fair.
I don't know. I feel like it doesn't bode well for the show that like the creative force behind the game is leaving. Because there were a couple episodes that Neil directed of season 2, and they were largely like flashback episodes with Ellie and Joel. Because like throughout the game,
I know that he comes back. Yeah,
throughout the game, like between each major like day sequence, you get like a flashback either with Abby or Ellie and Joel, and those are like very impactful and good, and they did those very, very well in the show. It's just unfortunate that everything else around it kind of soured me on it. I was in my opinion, I like the best part about the first season was Joel and Ellie like together, and I could see why. Like, I mean, I wasn't like in love with the first season anyways, but knowing, because I knew the story from the second game too, so knowing that he wasn't really going to be in it that much, I was just like, So I mean, to me it makes sense that like the best parts are the ones with Joel, because I think that his character and then their dynamic is like the best part. And like where the game makes it work, that like even though Joel wasn't there, the way that the game like characterizes Ellie and shows her sort of descent into like revenge, and then through that revenge she sort of starts stripping away her own humanity, and then it's just like, is an eye worth an eye? It kind of meditates on these ideas of just like how far should you go to get revenge, and then like it kind of shows you the sort of like bleak consequences of like the conclusion of what happens when you do seek out that revenge. Like this is like the game ends on an extremely like dour note. It is like a very depressing ending. But I could still see them making a third game, and if they did, I would play it. I would like get it immediately now that I'm like into this series, even though I slept on it for like the last decade when it came out. I'm not sure the show will end it on that dour of a note. I don't know. I feel like they've changed enough to the point where it really could be, they could do anything. I don't know. I hope they course correct, but we'll see.
Well, who knows with I was thinking that too when you said that Neil Druckmann left. I was like, he doesn't want to just go through the same fucking shit that they did when the second game came out, all that like the backlash, and then they do the second season. He's like, oh, well, it's happening again, so whatever.
Yeah, for real. Because like people didn't like Abby because she killed Joel. They didn't like Abby because like she was. I think there was like wokeness allegations against this game too, because Abby was beefy and strong, and they're like, what is Abby, trans or something? Like, no, that's not what it is. There are some other characters, like some minor characters that you meet that I think one is like either trans or gender non-conforming. Like there's like a group of people called like the Seraphites. They're like a religious cult type group, and what basically Abby runs into like two children who have been like excommunicated because one of them I think was like assigned male at birth, but like shaved his head, which is what the male members of the group do, and so they're labeled as a heretic. And so Abby sort of befriends these like children from this cult that is like the main adversary of like the Washington, like Abby's group. They're like basically in like this turf battle with this cult. And so Abby like learns to empathize with these two kids, and like, but I think one of them is like gender non-conforming. So like people that were mad that Joel got killed were also just like, my favorite character died, and also this game is woke. Bad game. Because people that play video games want their art form to be reviewed and seen as just as with just enough as much artistic merit as like movies and TV shows. And then as soon as like people start critiquing those games or like incorporating thematic elements from TV shows, they're like, this is gay and woke. Why can't it just be about gameplay? And it's like, well, you want it to be treated like an art form. Well, this is what happens when games become art. Like, the real sad thing is like baby gamers and their terrible media literacy.
Yeah. Yeah. Ready for a movie rec?
Yeah.
It's Dud Week. So.
Been a second.
Let's go. Yeah. Hopefully.
It'd be very funny if it was Southland Tales.
That would be funny.
Or like,
Let's see. Fingers crossed. Okay, here we go. I'm hoping it's something. It's not.
Oh, okay.
But it should be good. I was hoping to pull something because Josh said that. I'm not announcing this officially, but he said he was going to try to be on for the next dud, and I was like, okay, I want to try to pick something like a real one. This might be. I hope, because I've seen a few of this guy's movies, that it'll be a spud, but I think it'll maybe be more like what he's hoping for. So, from 1993, directed by Godfrey Ho, if you remember that name, Undefeatable, which is I don't remember. It's a Cynthia Rothrock one, which we watched a few of hers. I don't think we've done a Godfrey Ho movie on the show, but when we were doing our like post-stream movie watches, we watched like 2 or 3 of them.
Because there was one that we were watching and like the fire alarm went off in my house.
Oh yeah. Did we watch? We did. We watched Honor and Glory. We watched. I don't think Manhattan Chase is like Godfrey Ho adjacent. If it's not, that's why it's. You can't even go off of like Ninja Squad. I don't know if you watched that one. God, he did fucking Catman Lethal Track too. That one fucking sucked. That one was one of the worst ones. So I've seen at least 3 or 4 of this guy's movies. At least. But also just like the way that I'm pretty sure, I don't know, it's so muddy, like figuring out the actual credits for like his movies. And then there's also Joseph Lai is another name that is kind of like synonymous with Godfrey Ho. And he might have done Manhattan Chase. And Cynthia Rothrock is in that one too. No, that one says Godfrey Ho too, but that wasn't on his list. Or I just missed it. I don't know. These posters on Letterboxd are it's so hard to like concentrate. There's so much going on in every single poster. So I probably just scrolled right past it. Okay, so he did do Manhattan Chase. Okay. That one was great. Manhattan Chase is great. Honor and Glory was great. Ninja Squad and Catman, not as good. Anyways. I'm excited to talk about this guy on the show for once. If we haven't yet.
I feel like he's kind of like one of the legends of like bad movies.
Yeah. I like people know like Neil Breen, they know Wiseau. Not as many people know about Godfrey Ho, and I'm trying to bring him to the light.
Preach the good word.
Yeah. So if you don't want to be spoiled for Undefeatable, watch it before the next episode. These episodes come out on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. EST on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and audio. Oh, I did that backwards. Well, whatever. Spotify and Apple Podcasts in audio form and YouTube in video form. We also have social pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And with all that said, nothing like a good shit. And with me as always.
Talk about.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that guy.
As always, I could tell if it was one of your farts. I know my friend's farts, and and I'm Nick.
What an appropriate like this serious like grim movie. Perfect takeaway is just the poop lines.
Poop and farts.
So far, so good.